Welcome to yet another edition of Torah Talks Chazaq special Tuesday night program with special guests. Tonight we have with us Dr. David Lieberman. Welcome, Doctor. How you doing?
Amazing. Thank you, Rabbi.
What an honor it is to have Dr. David Lieberman all the way from Lakewood into our headquarters over here at Queens. And we're going to be talking about real relationships. And, every single Saturday night you have an amazing program with our very own Rabbi Abov. Turn Saturday night into Motzei Shabbat. And you talk about, what was the topic every week?
It covers a wide gambit. It can be from, my kids taking out the garbage, talking about relationships. We cover a wide spectrum, and it's great. People send in questions.
Yes.
So we take them, and whatever the questions are, that's where the topic goes.
And the feedback is amazing, you should know. We get so much amazing feedback, and people are constantly telling us how amazing it is. And this is how the Torah Talks came to fruition, actually.
Really?
Because we saw that during COVID, a lot of the rabbi speakers, they were talking to the camera.
Right.
And the views were they were rocking. They were going great. But when there was talking back and forward, conversation, the numbers were much higher. And we started this Torah Talk thanks to your vision. Okay, so tonight's topic is going to be real relationships. But before we delve into tonight's topic, we usually have the custom of asking our guests a little bit about themselves, but everybody knows about Dr. David Lieberman and the great work that he's involved with. We're going to ask you about your newest book. I heard that it's coming out soon. That's really exciting.
Yes, Mitzvah Shem is coming out, God willing, August 16th. It's called From Random House, actually from Rodale Press, a division of Penguin Random House, and it's called Mind Reader.
Mind Reader?
Yes, Mind Reader.
Rabbi, Doc, you read minds?
Well, not in a psychic sense, but what the book does do is it helps people to better understand what somebody may be thinking and feeling, even to gauge their emotional health, when they may not be so honest with other people, even with themselves. So the applications runs a wide gambit in terms of therapy. You're speaking with somebody or in counseling, right? As a rabbi, this comes up, somebody's expressing how they're feeling, but you're thinking, do they really believe what they're saying? Or do they believe what they're saying, but they're not being honest with me? And certainly our relationships, established ones, new relationships, you're thinking of hiring somebody, you want to fire somebody, is this guy going to be dangerous in the workplace? Entering a new relationship, personal or professional. Being able to gauge somebody's emotional health is just undeniably valuable, and being able to do it so quickly, just based on how people use their language and their body language, is just astounding.
That is amazing. Wow, I can't wait to get a hold on to this book. Again, August when?
It's coming August 16th. You can pre-order it wherever books are sold.
Nice.
You can visit the Penguin Random House site at prh.com/mindreader.
prh.com/mindreader. Okay, Dr. Lieberman, that's so exciting. This is in addition to all the other amazing books that I know that the doctor has put together over the years. I remember we've had Dr. Lieberman by Chazaq events many years, and good stuff. Always amazing feedback.
Thank you.
So let's jump into it. You ready?
Go.
So we're talking about real relationships. And I want to give a shout out to Robbie again for putting all these questions together. I'm just, a shliach, a messenger. Okay, the steps to achieve a real relationship can be learned from the acronym for the word real, which stands for R is real, E is effort, A is appreciation, and L is loyalty. So under the category of real, often one feels it is better not to confront certain issues because one might be afraid to have the necessary but uncomfortable conversation. It's very uncomfortable to tell someone something that... So why is it important to be honest about your feelings and sharing it in a relationship?
Good question. Great question. So look, every relationship requires the degree of authenticity, right? We all know people, we all those relationships where they're superficial, they're pretty much the emotional equivalent to those air kisses. Mwah, mwah. And there's no real depth to it. So if there's something that neither of you are discussing, that elephant in the room, it's always going to be there. Doesn't mean you discuss every deep, dark secret. To the contrary, real relationship, you know what to avoid. At the same time, though, if you're holding on to resentment and frustration and that anger that can just solidify over time, it's going to injure the relationship.
Not healthy.
It's not healthy at all. But the mistake people make sometimes is they just unload what it is they want to talk about at the wrong time. Something's on our mind, maybe with our spouse or maybe with a friend, and as soon as they come in, we just pounce. So how you express yourself is fundamentally much more valuable almost than what it is you say. Meaning is that if something's on your mind, first wait 24 hours, bring it up in a pleasant voice. Some people think they need to bring something up loud in order for the other person to hear, but just psychologically we shut down. So you bring it up calmly.
You said 24 hours?
Wait 24 hours. If you can, wait 24 Here's what happens.
I'm saying my parents, when we were young, we would get upset and angry, want to do something, and they would say, count till 30.
Ah,
And then we didn't feel like beating up the sibling.
good, very good, very good.
But you're saying 24 hours.
Well, look, it was certainly with people closest to us. You want to count to 30. Look, I wrote a book called Never Get Angry Again. I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna save you $12.95 right now. The book, okay, is that certainly counting and breathing and all those things calm us down physiologically. So it's good in terms of not just expressing that torrent of anger and unleashing our emotions. But when we talk about waiting 24 hours, we mean that sometimes the entire conversation is unnecessary because in the heat of the moment, our ego gets engaged, we get very sort of animated, very upset, we've got that tunnel vision. And by putting a little bit of time, we realize not just don't we need to express ourselves at all, but it's really silly that we're bothered in the first place. Again, if you're still bothered, by all means, it's a protocol to follow. But give yourself some time to see, what? Did I really get upset because this person did something to me? Do they really care about me? Why was I so bothered by it? You have an honest conversation with yourself, you'll find a lot of the anger dissipates. But by all means, if you're still bothered by something, bring it up, but non-judgmentally, non-accusatorily, even blame yourself and express how you feel. By the way, there's a lot to cover here, but you stay away from you statements. As soon as you begin a conversation with somebody, say, you did this, you did that, it's going to be argumentative. Simply use I. This is how I felt when this happened. And it's very hard for the person to get upset if you don't accuse them of doing anything wrong. So stay away from the word you and just make it about I. This is how I felt.
We always suggest not to say I. It's ego. But this is an amazing.
This is a great time. What? When we're talking about blame, then let the I speak for themselves, right? Because as soon as you start, we know this is true in our own life. As soon as somebody starts with you did this, you did that, it's our knee-jerk reaction, right? To defend ourselves. The person simply says, you know what? When this happened, I just want to express that I was a little bit hurt. I know that it wasn't, then the person will want to help you feel better because they're not busy defending themselves.
Amazing. So, as a doctor, is it true that time is the best medicine? Is that okay to say? Like, with time, things calm down.
Right, the expression time heals all wounds. I'm not so sure it's a healing salve for all wounds, but certainly in expressing our emotions, having a little bit of perspective is undeniably healthy.
Amazing. Okay, so now we're jumping to the letter E of real and under the category of effort. So quite often we look towards others that they need to put in more effort into their relationships, but not as often do we look internally that we need to put in more effort. It's like in a marriage, to be the best spouse, work on yourself to be the proper spouse as opposed to finding the right spouse with regards to matchmaking and shidduchim.
Right.
So what correlation does effort in relationship have? What's the connection?
I can't tell you how many people come to me with shalom bayis and dealing with marital harmony. How many people come and with a laundry list of things that they want me to help their spouse to do, to change. And I said, I see your list. It's like some of these guys bringing a phone book size, It's like, just put your folder down, and what is it that you can do in the marriage that can make it better? It's like, no, you don't understand. I said, I do understand. You've got a laundry list, and the only reason you're doing these things is because she's doing that. He's like, yeah. Stop. Okay, I'll speak to her about what but tell me what it is that you already know you're doing that is upsetting your wife. You already know you're doing that is not making her happy. Things you could do that could make a difference. And when you begin to focus on each person taking responsibility for what they can control, you have a different quality relationship.
Wow, amazing, powerful, true, 100%. Whenever there's arguments, and it reminds you of a famous joke of a rabbi that has a couple, and the husband's like, oh, the wife did A to B, C. He's like, you're right. And then the wife's like, oh, the husband A, B, C. And he's like, you're right. And then the gabbai, the helper of the rabbi, is like, I understand, he's right and she's right. He's like, you're also right. Everyone's right. But at the end of the day, we have to work on ourselves. And put the effort in ourselves, and once we change ourselves, then the whole world in essence will be changed, like the famous saying.
That's true, right? And also, even when you change your interaction to somebody, their behavior will change, no doubt. So, in other words, we underestimate the power that we have in a relationship. We think we're stuck with somebody who is mean or acts selfishly or doesn't consider our feelings or disrespectful. The power that we wield is enormous. If we're able to just get our own ego out of the way and ask ourselves, what can I do to be effective? And that's really what it comes down to. As my rabbi used to say, you can either be right or you can be happy. So, it's not always about being right. It's not always about getting your way. In other words, what is the most effective thing here? And if you're able to strategize a little bit, move your ego out of the way, I've seen relationships just do a complete 180. Simply from one person deciding that they would take responsibility for what they can control.
Amazing. Powerful, true, 100%. So we're up to the letter A for appreciation. The word real. We as Jewish people were called Yehudim, Yehuda, Hodaya, which comes from the word of appreciation of things. How does the attitude of gratitude correlate with maintaining strong and healthy relationships?
Beautiful question. So look, fewer things are going to kill a relationship faster than a lack of appreciation. Right? Now, sometimes we'll show more chorus of Tov, more gratitude to the Tov Booth Collective than we will to our own spouse. It's like, oh, thank you so much, have a nice day, stay warm. Our spouse says, you want to say, what are you screaming, right? In other words, we fail, and this question actually came up recently in another interview, and the person says, you've got these cases where someone may be running to do, all these beautiful things outside the home, but inside the home, like they're ignoring their own family. And unfortunately, that happens more too often than we like to acknowledge, but in part because we do something for the rest of the world and they don't stop with the appreciation, the acknowledgement, the plaques, the awards. At home, it's just sort of like, silent. So I said, if we're able to just, and I do this a lot with Shalom Bayis, even with our own children, just make a point of acknowledging 1, 2, 3 times a day something that somebody did that you appreciate. I mean, think about how different your day would be if the people, in your sphere acknowledge your efforts 1, 2, 3 times a day, which would just compound that out to how many times people are saying, that's amazing, I like the way you handle the kids, by the way, thanks for this, I appreciate this. And my kids know, by the way, I drop them off at school, do I have to take carpool? Maybe yes, maybe no, it's irrelevant. I value that thank you more than anything else. And they know that, because even though, I know that they appreciate it, when we show our appreciation for something that somebody did for us, it completes the joy. We know people who have a hard time acknowledging what somebody does, have a hard time, because that person actually, Dr. Rabbi Abraham Twersky used to say, that, some people have a hard time showing gratitude because it acknowledges to them that they're missing something, that they're not complete, so they can't acknowledge something that somebody did for them. So when a person expresses their appreciation, it completes the joy. We enjoy more we get from our spouse, from our children, from our friends. When we say thank you, it's almost selfish. But certainly from the standpoint of relationships, it's undeniably valuable.
So it's important to have an attitude of gratitude.
100%. That's
to be appreciated. Yeah. You got to show Karas Tov, and that's what the Jews are all about. That's our name, Yehudim.
We are. That's right. And in Judaism, look, we can't hear the clap of thunder, walk out of the bathroom, see an old friend, smell a flower without making a bracha, without connecting to something larger, without showing our appreciation for what it is that we're doing, what it is we're enjoying.
Amazing, amazing. Wow, so inspiring. Dr. Lieberman, you're great. I love it. So we're up to the letter L of real, and that's loyalty. One of the greatest signs of a true friend is being there in good times and in difficult times. Why is loyalty the utmost importance? Why is that in a relationship?
That's good. Being able to count on somebody. It's easy to be, as they say, a fair-weathered friend. Somebody who sticks around when things are good. But as soon as, things get a little bit uncomfortable, it's like, hello,
where are you?
Right.
What's going on?
Right. So, somebody who's able to be with us and that we can count on. There's a track record of not going somewhere because something is difficult. That's really the glue of the relationship. And that fundamentally comes from a relationship where we trust the other person. We know that we can count on them. We don't have to be something else. We don't have to contort and twist who we are to accommodate, some perception so they'll like us. We can be authentic. We can be honest. We can be real. And they can with us as well. Bring us better emotional health.
Amazing. You touched on this before we get to the final message that we always have in Torah Talks with regards to appreciation, that we show more appreciation to the Torah booth as opposed to people at home. So there's a famous saying, chesed, kindness starts at home.
That's right.
So the question is as follows, and I get this a lot from my colleagues that are involved with communal work.
Yeah.
What's the balance between community work, helping at the synagogue and the local yeshiva school, and and being there at home with the family and the kids? What would you say, Doc?
So I'm reminded of a conversation I had with somebody, a lovely guy who was very obsessive, and he kept on trying to correct me and say he was passionate. He wasn't obsessive, he was passionate. I said, no, you're obsessive. He goes, what's the difference? I said, here's the difference. I said, when you're passionate about something, everything else as a result gets lifted. Everything else becomes more brightly colored. The entire flavor of your life and relationships are enhanced by this passion. When you're obsessed by something, everything else is at the expense of that, and everything else fades away, and you lose perspective, and you're hyper-focused. So too, if you're able to, to do kindness and build and work with the community, and your family is a part of that, they're better off because of it. They are enhanced by it. They take pleasure in it. It is their opportunity to give as well. Then that's something that you can all put your energies into. But if a person is giving, to one person at the expense of someone else, he's really not giving. He's robbing that first person and then taking what's due them and give to somebody else. Wow. So unless the family, unless the home is full, then you're not really giving. You're robbing from your family, and you're giving, and you're stealing from them and giving that to somebody else. That's not you giving. That's them giving without their consent. They're being robbed. So bring them in, make them a part of the process. Allow for them to see also, what they do. And if you're out sacrificing and working, and you can come home and say, by the way, I know I wasn't here for dinner. I wasn't here for this. I want to let you know what we were able to accomplish. We. But here's the key, is ask for permission ahead of time. And I would say, look, I can go ahead and do this, but here we have an opportunity to do that. And by the way, if they say, no, I'd rather you be at home, then quite frankly, be at home. Because that shows them that when they say go out, that they are part of it.
Amazing. Powerful. Wow. Very inspiring. Very, very great message. We got to get that out to the world, because this is always comes up on a constant basis with people that want to go out and do and make things happen, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And it's on the expense of their family.
Yeah.
So, Dr. David Lieberman, so many beautiful gems that we heard so far, but one final message that we have in our Torah talks that you could leave our broad audience with.
Easy. Positivity. You know what I say in real estate, location.
Yep.
Relationships, positive. It's if focus on the positive in yourself, in your world, in others. You live in a different quality life, in a different quality world. You have different quality relationships. It is so easy to just focus on the negative, what the person's getting wrong. But when you look for the positive, you acknowledge the positive, and you live in that positive space, your entire world is transformed. And there's some people whose just nature it is, maybe sometimes also environment, they focus in on the negative. If you're able, like a habit, like any habit, to switch that around, spend more time looking for the positive in your kids and your spouse and your friends and yourself, you'll live a different quality life.
Amazing positivity. I love that topic, and it's 100% true. Adam shetamid tzemach, person that's always happy, that's positive. Tamid yatzich, will always be successful. But when you're in a good mood, you're always going to make great things happen. Dr. David Lieberman, what an honor it was to have you on the program. We really appreciate all the insights. We want to remind everyone about the newest book, Mind Reader.
Mind Reader, out August 16th from Penguin Random House.
Please make sure to get it, and it's a great gift. I'm sure I'm going to be getting it, and getting it for family and friends as well. And we want to remind everyone, every single Motzei Shabbat, Saturday night, we have a very special program with Dr. David Lieberman, Rabbi Goldwasser, turns Saturday night into Motzei Shabbat. We encourage everyone to tune into that. And of course, every single Tuesday night, we have Chazaq Torah Talks with special guests. And we wanted to thank all those at Chazaq, Natan A, Natan B, Rabbi Rahman, the whole team, Izzy, everyone over here that makes this program happen. And we want to remind you about our mission of helping get every single Jewish child to give them a Jewish education, whether it's with after-school programs, Sunday school programs, Teens Division programs, and of course a Yeshiva Placement Division, which has already transferred over 1,200 kids, Baruch Hashem, from public schools to Yeshiva the last few years alone, and growing, Baruch Hashem. If you have a family, a friend, a neighbor that needs help, Chazaq is always ready, willing, and able. And to dedicate future programs, please reach out to the Chazaq organization as well. Thank you very much, Dr. Lieberman.
Thank you, Rabbi.
We'll be in touch. All the best.